Hello, my name is Seamus. I'm one of the team at Employability and Careers. I'm based at the Jordanstown campus and I'm work experience and placements manager. What we want to do today is have a wee chat with regard to the impact of the virus that is having an effect on all of our work, and that includes the work of our students who are on placement, both locally in GB and around the world. So, Shauna, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Seamus. My name is Shauna McGrath and I am Employability Advisor and I oversee global opportunities and I'm based at Jordanstown. So as Seamus said, we're just going to give you an overview today, deal with some queries that you may have and provide some general information and support for you students.
Okay, perfect. So as you can all see, we are not in the office. We are like most of the rest of the world at the moment, we're working from home. And that is the case for much of the university community. The university is open. The lecturers and contact with students and among students staff is still going ahead, and that means since lectures are still taking place and seminars happen to some extent, then those students who are out on placement should also still be learning. And what we want to do is make clear for you that while you're a student on placement, please remember that you are an employee. And as an employee, if your employer decides that they need to make an adjustment to your work environment for your own health and safety well-being to safeguard you in the work environment, then that might mean that they want you to work from home. It might mean that they will ask you to work differently in the environment, in the work environment. Social distancing might take place, or indeed they may in fact decide that some of the work you're doing isn't core to business and therefore your placement might end. In all cases, please do take account of what your placement partner, your employer, is saying to you, because that's where your first instruction is going to come from. Does that sound about right, Shauna?
It does indeed, Seamus, yes. And what I would just add to that is if a student feels they're still uncomfortable being in placement, if their employer is happy for them to continue in the workplace, but they would rather return home, certainly then make contact with their placement tutor. And from there, also they want to look at the local health care advice from the authorities to make sure it's safe to travel, etc. as well.
That's quite right, absolutely. Particularly those students who are on placement overseas. The situation is changing very quickly and very often, so
Yeah.
do please stay in contact with all of us in the university and with people local to you. Perhaps you've got a visa sponsor locally who's looking after you as well, so do take on their advice. Um, we have put in place quite a bit of advice and information, and that has been circulated to university colleagues here. So your placement tutor knows what to say to you, and they may well have forwarded some of that to you anyway. And the easy way to find that sort of information is to go to the university's website, ulster.ac.uk, which I'm sure you know, and on that you will see a link to the coronavirus advice for students and for staff. And the specific advice for you as a student is going to be presented there. Any updates we get will be presented there as well. And that includes, as Sean is saying, looking out for how you're going to make a return if you have to travel from overseas. So our travel partners, Key Travel, are in place to help with that. And there's quite a number of ways that you can make contact with them. And that's on that particular website.
Also, Seamus, students will need to bear in mind of maybe costs that they may incur through accommodation, maybe having to cut their contracts short, etc. That is something students are going to have to plan for themselves, and take these into consideration should they be travelling home.
That's correct. That's correct. And then for the, pardon me, for the rest of our students who are on placement, maybe within GB or in the Republic of
Yes,
Ireland, travel issues are not such a big concern. But
that's
again,
right.
if you felt uncomfortable in your work environment, you can have a chat with your employer, as Shauna says. If that doesn't satisfy you, let the university know and see if your placement tutor can exert some influence there also. What we're going to find is that many of the employers are having to make these difficult decisions, and that will affect you. But what we want to make clear to you is that the impact to your award, your Diploma in Professional Practice or Diploma in Professional Practice International for those who are overseas, that will not be impacted as a result of action having to be taken, and that action is out of your control.
That's right. And just to add to that, Seamus, also with regards to the actual work placement itself for those students who do have to return home early, that will be considered on the amount of work that they have put in from their start date to their end date for when they do return. And if additional work is required, that's something they can speak to their placement tutor about.
Absolutely. There will be some change to the assessment criteria, perhaps,
Yes.
just to make sure that you can achieve your award. That's what the focus is going to be. And remember that achieving the award or not achieving the award, depending on how that turns out, is not going to have an effect on your degree. Remember that DPP and DPPI is a separate award. It doesn't count towards your degree itself.
Great. And Seamus, maybe we could just touch on as well, we have a number of students who were planning to go and do a global work placement and also local work placements from September. And we have had queries from students inquiring, can I go, will I be able to do my international work placement from September, etc. Because of the uncertainty of the virus at the moment, we would hope that these students will be able to progress to do their work placements. However, it's too early to say at this present moment in time. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, Seamus, we will be reviewing this on a regular basis, and we will keep students up to date with information regarding future placements going forward. For international and also for the local area too.
That's true, because in the case of where we're sitting within employability and careers, we have a huge amount of contact with our employers, whether for graduate recruitment or for placement. And we know that already our placement partners who would be there at this point year on year are having to think carefully about future planning. So we can't advertise right away. They're still considering how this whole situation with the coronavirus is going to play out. And it may well be that you find yourself having to act very, very quickly whenever those vacancies do come through. And they may come through in July, and it may be August, and perhaps beyond that. But do understand the university is going to be as flexible as it possibly can be to see that you get the experience that you want from Ulster University. And that does include, as a core part of the curriculum, the placement experience.
That's right. And just to reassure students as well, as soon as the employability team, we know about these opportunities becoming available, we will certainly be circulating and promoting and ensuring that students are aware that they are available so that they can then in turn apply to those opportunities as soon as possible.
Yeah, because Sean and myself were talking earlier about the visa issues, and I am not that connected to visas. Shauna, you know a little bit more than I do.
Yes, just with regards to the J1 visas currently, there is a number of students who are currently mid-application. As you can appreciate, everything has been put on hold at the minute, but our partner has advised us that it will be mid-May before they will be considering looking at those visa applications. Again, because of the uncertainty with the virus, that date can move. But we will make sure we are in touch with our students to let them know what the progress is and when application processes then will, going forward, open for those visa applications.
Yeah, and I think probably our best advice is to keep yourself ready for applying. Keep connected to ourselves at Employability and Careers. Do keep connected to your placement tutor or placement administrator on campus, because as soon as information is available, we will share that with everyone we can.
We certainly will. We will indeed.
I don't know if there's anything else that we've got to touch on right away, other than say to people, keep an eye on that website, the university's website, for updates on the coronavirus, and email us through to Careers at Ulster, and keep connected through our social media, perhaps, for Careers at Ulster as well, for the latest information.
And any queries that anyone does have, don't hesitate, as Seamus said, just to come email us, and we'll certainly come back and offer support and advice where we can.
Okay, folks, thank you for taking time to watch this little video. This should be the start of regular communications from us,
Yes.
and we hope that we find that, or that you find those valuable. And what we'll do is respond to your queries, as Shauna says.
Well, indeed. We look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.